Hey there, Bible explorers and truth seekers. Welcome back to Bible Bites, where we delve into the most powerful stories of the good book. Today we're diving deep into the fiery furnace of Daniel chapter 3. Get ready for a story of unwavering faith, scorching trials, and a God who never abandons his own. Before we crank up the heat, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people discover these incredible stories. Now picture this, ancient Babylon. Year 605 BC. Imagine a sprawling metropolis, a beacon of wealth and power. Towering ziggurats pierce the sky. Crowded marketplaces bustle with merchants hawking exotic goods. This is the heart of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, ruled by the mighty Nebuchadnezzar. He's a king known for his ambition, his military prowess, and let's just say, a bit of an ego. Nebuchadnezzar had conquered Jerusalem, taking many of its inhabitants, including a young man named Daniel, as captives to Babylon. Daniel and his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah found themselves in a foreign land. They were stripped of their homes, their families, and their freedom. Yet, amidst the opulence and idolatry of Babylon, these young men held on to something far more precious, their faith in the one true God. Little did they know that their faith was about to be tested in the most dramatic and terrifying way imaginable. Keep watching to uncover the incredible strength and the miraculous deliverance that unfolded in the face of impossible odds. Babylon was a melting pot of cultures and religions. Its citizens worshipped a pantheon of gods and goddesses. The king, Nebuchadnezzar, believed himself to be divinely appointed. For the Jewish captives, this created a monumental clash of cultures. Imagine being torn from your homeland and forced to bow down to idols. The Jewish captives were monotheistic, believing in one God, Yahweh. They refused to bow and clung to their faith. This clash set the stage for an epic showdown. Stay tuned because things are about to get heated. King Nebuchadnezzar, in all his arrogance and might, decided to flex his imperial muscles. He commissioned the construction of a massive golden image. He gathered his satraps, administrators, governors, and all officials. He wanted everyone to witness his grandeur and tremble before his command. At the sound of music, every knee was to bow. Refusal meant a fiery death. On the other side stood Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Their faith, their courage, their very lives hung in the balance. Stick with us because you won't want to miss what happens next. Picture this, the heart of Babylon, a vast plain transformed into a colossal stage. Nebuchadnezzar, adorned in robes shimmering with gold and jewels, stands before his kingdom. The air crackles with anticipation, and then it is unveiled. The golden image, towering over the assembled masses, glints under the Babylonian sun. It is a monument to Nebuchadnezzar's ego, a glittering testament to his power. Three young men, their faces etched with worry, stand apart from the crowd. They remember their God, the one true God, and they know they will not bow. A hush falls over the crowd as a herald steps forward. His voice booms across the assembled masses. He delivers the king's decree, obedience or death. Every word drips with the king's authority. The punishment for defiance is swift and merciless. Whoever does not worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace. Fear ripples through the crowd. The people fall prostrate before the golden image. Their faces show awe and terror. The ground trembles as thousands bow in unison. Nebuchadnezzar drinks in the adoration of his subjects, but three figures remain standing. They are unmoved by the waves of fear. They know the cost of defiance, but are prepared to pay it. Word of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's defiance spreads through the crowd like wildfire. Whispers turn into murmurs, murmurs into gasps of disbelief. How dare they disobey the king? How dare they challenge Nebuchadnezzar's might? The eyes of the crowd, moments ago fixed on the golden image, now dart around, searching for the brave or foolish souls who dared to disobey. Hidden within the throng, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stand shoulder to shoulder, their faith an unbreakable bond. They feel the weight of thousands of eyes upon them, hear the whispers of their impending doom, but their resolve does not waver. They have made their choice, a choice born not of arrogance or defiance, but of unwavering faith. Fear, real and palpable, hangs heavy in the air around them. They are acutely aware of the price of disobedience. They have seen the flames of the furnace, felt the heat radiating from its depths. They know that their refusal could mean a gruesome and agonizing death. Yet they stand firm, their faith a shield against the fear that threatens to consume them. They draw strength from each other, from the shared belief that binds them together. They whisper prayers to their God, the God who parted the Red Sea, the God who brought down the walls of Jericho, the God who they know is with them even in this, their darkest hour. Their faith, tested in the fires of adversity, burns brighter than ever. The stage is set for a showdown between earthly power and divine intervention. Fury contorts Nebuchadnezzar's face when he is informed of the defiance of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He demands that the three young men be brought before him immediately. Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up? If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it. Will their God save them now? Stay tuned to find out. Imagine the furnace, a brick and mortar monstrosity, belching black smoke into the clear Babylonian sky. The heat, even from a distance, is unbearable. It scorches the air, making it difficult to breathe. The ground around the furnace radiates heat, baking the earth dry and cracked. The crowd, their faces pale with a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, shields their eyes from the intense glare. Nebuchadnezzar's soldiers, their faces grim, stoke the furnace with wood and oil. The flames, hungry and fierce, devour the fuel with a roar that echoes across the plain. The fire, a raging inferno, seems to reach towards the heavens as if challenging the very authority of God. It is a physical manifestation of Nebuchadnezzar's rage, a symbol of the power he wields over life and death. The air is thick with the smell of burning wood and the acrid tang of fear. The crowd, their initial excitement replaced by a palpable sense of dread, watches in stunned silence as the furnace is prepared for its victims. The heat is so intense that it feels like the very air itself is melting, distorting the world around them. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, their hands bound, are led towards the furnace. Every step takes them closer to the inferno, closer to what seems like certain death. The crowd parts before them, their faces a mixture of awe and pity. Yet, amidst the fear and the heat, the three young men walk with a strange sense of peace. Their faith, their trust in God, burns brighter than ever, even in the face of this terrifying ordeal. The soldiers, their faces hardened by years of war and obedience, bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego with rough ropes. The ropes bite into their flesh, a physical reminder of their impending doom. The three young men offer no resistance, their eyes fixed on the flames that dance and leap before them. They know that their fate is sealed, their lives in the hands of a king consumed by rage. The crowd watches in horrified fascination as the three young men are brought to the edge of the fiery abyss. The heat is so intense that it feels like standing on the precipice of hell itself. The roar of the flames is deafening, drowning out all other sounds. The stench of burning wood and oil fills their nostrils, a suffocating reminder of the fate that awaits those who dare to defy the king. The soldiers, their movements practiced and efficient, hoist Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the air. The crowd gasps, their eyes following the three figures as they are held suspended above the inferno. The flames, as if sensing their proximity, leap higher, their fiery tongues licking at the air, eager to consume their victims. For a moment, time seems to stand still. The air crackles with tension, the only sound the roar of the fire and the pounding hearts of the onlookers. Then, with a swift, brutal motion, the soldiers hurl Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the heart of the furnace. The crowd cries out, their voices a mixture of horror and morbid fascination. The three figures disappear into the inferno, swallowed by the flames. The crowd watches in stunned silence as the flames engulf Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar, his face still flushed with anger, watches the furnace intently. He expects to see the flames consume the three young men, but what he sees instead sends a jolt of fear and disbelief through his heart. He sees four figures walking calmly amidst the flames, untouched by the fire. One of the figures radiates a light, a presence that is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Nebuchadnezzar calls to his advisors, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and awe. "Didn't we bind three men and throw them into the blazing furnace?" His advisors nod mutely. Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the fourth looks like a son of the gods." The crowd gasps, their murmurs of astonishment rippling through the assembled masses. Nebuchadnezzar's jaw hung open, his eyes glued to the spectacle before him. Nebuchadnezzar, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and awe, turned to his guards. "Bring them out!" he commanded. The guards, their faces pale, hesitated before scrambling to obey. The crowd parted as the guards approached the furnace. Reaching the furnace's gaping maw, the guards called out, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out!" Slowly, the 3 figures emerged from the inferno, their steps measured and deliberate. They walked through the flames as if passing through a curtain of water. Nebuchadnezzar watched, his breath catching in his throat, as the 3 young men approached. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood before Nebuchadnezzar, their bodies untouched by the fire. Their clothes shimmered with a soft, ethereal light. The crowd gasped, their eyes darting from the 3 young men to the still burning furnace. Nebuchadnezzar, his voice barely a whisper, addressed the 3 young men. "How is it that you are unharmed by the fire? What magic is this?" Shadrach, his voice calm and steady, met the king's gaze. "Our God, the one true God, he is the one who saved us." Meshach added, "The fire had no power over our bodies, just as it had no power over our faith." Nebuchadnezzar, his face pale with a mixture of awe and fear, rose from his throne. He raised his hands, silencing the awestruck murmurs of the crowd. "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He sent his angel and rescued his servants." The crowd, sensing a shift in the balance of power, watched with bated breath. "Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble." The crowd erupted in a cacophony of sound. The king had just acknowledged the supremacy of the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The impossible had happened, not just in the fiery furnace, but in the heart of the king himself. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is more than just an ancient tale. It's a testament to the power of unwavering faith, a beacon of hope for anyone who has ever faced seemingly insurmountable odds. It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, our God is with us. True faith isn't about avoiding trials, but about facing them head-on. It's about standing firm in our convictions, even when the world tells us to bow down and conform. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Remember that our God is a God who saves, a God who delivers, a God who walks with us through the fire. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends. The crowd watched, breathless, as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego emerged from the heart of the inferno. Nebuchadnezzar, eyes wide with astonishment, stammered, "Didn't we tie up 3 men? I see 4, and they walk unharmed." The fourth figure, radiating a light that seemed not of this world, had left an imprint on his soul. Though he had vanished with the flames, the image of that being remained etched in the king's mind. Nebuchadnezzar recognized something divine in that fourth figure. Could it be that the God of the Hebrews had manifested himself within the flames? The crowd, their faces a mixture of fear and awe, looked at each other, their whispers echoing across the plain. The very air seemed charged with a strange energy, as if the boundaries between heaven and earth had been blurred. Nebuchadnezzar, his voice shaking with emotion, addressed the crowd. "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants." The king, once the epitome of arrogance and power, now stood humbled before his court. "Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble." The words tumbled from his lips, a torrent of newfound faith and conviction. The king who had demanded worship for a golden statue now directed all praise and adoration toward the God of Israel. The fiery furnace had not only tested the faith of 3 young men, but it had also forged a new heart within the king himself. The crowd, stunned by this sudden and dramatic conversion, erupted in a cacophony of sound. The fiery furnace had become a testament to the power of faith and the sovereignty of God. The news of the miracle spread like wildfire. Nebuchadnezzar, his heart forever changed, showered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego with honors and promotions. They were given positions of authority and influence within the Babylonian Empire. They became living testimonies to the faithfulness of God. The golden statue stood cold and lifeless, overshadowed by the radiant presence of the 4th man in the fire. The people of Babylon were now free to seek the God who had revealed himself in the heart of the furnace. The seeds of faith, sown in the ashes of the fiery trial, began to take root, promising a harvest of hope and redemption. The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego isn't just an ancient tale. It's a timeless message of hope and courage. Even in the face of insurmountable challenges, our God is with us, walking with us through the fires of adversity. True faith isn't about avoiding trials but facing them head-on, knowing our God is bigger than any challenge. So remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Our God saves, delivers, and walks with us through the fire. And that's it for this episode of Bible Bites. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. The flames of Nebuchadnezzar's furnace may have died down centuries ago, but the echoes of that fiery trial still resonate in our modern world. We may not face literal furnaces, but we all encounter our own trials, our own moments when our faith is tested, our courage challenged, and our resolve stretched thin. Imagine the pressure Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego felt, standing before that imposing statue, the weight of expectation bearing down on them. Now think about the pressures we face today. The pressure to conform, to compromise our beliefs for the sake of fitting in, for acceptance, for a promotion, or even just a moment of peace. The pressure to stay silent when our values are challenged, to look the other way when injustice rears its ugly head. Think about those times when you've had to take a stand for what you believe in, even when it was unpopular, even when it cost you something, friends, approval, maybe even a job. Those moments, my friends, are our own personal fiery furnaces. But here's the good news. The same God who walked with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego through those flames, He's walking with us too. He hasn't changed, His power hasn't diminished, and His promise remains the same. He will never leave us nor forsake us, even when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. The most astonishing part of the story, the part that sends shivers down my spine every time I read it, is the appearance of that 4th man in the fire. Think about it. Nebuchadnezzar, the most powerful king in the world, throws these 3 young men into a furnace designed to obliterate them. And what does he see? Not 3 charred figures but 4, strolling through the flames as if taking a leisurely walk in the park. Who was that 4th man? Some say an angel. Some say a manifestation of God Himself. But one thing's for sure, he wasn't just some random guy who wandered in from the street. He was a divine presence, a tangible reminder that God doesn't abandon His children when the heat is on. He walks with us right through the heart of the inferno. And that's true for us today, folks. We may not see a physical manifestation of God in our trials, but we can be sure that He's there. He's in the whispers of encouragement from an unexpected source, in the strength we didn't know we had, in the peace that surpasses all understanding. He's in the still, small voice that tells us to keep going, to hold on, to trust Him, even when we don't understand what He's doing. He's in the unexpected blessings that bloom in the midst of our pain, the reminders that even in the darkest of times, His love shines through. So, what does this story mean for us today? It's a call to courage, my friends, a call to stand firm in our faith, even when the world tells us to bow down and conform. It's a reminder that our loyalty belongs to a higher power, to a king whose kingdom cannot be shaken. It's easy to talk about faith when everything's going smoothly, but it's in the fires of adversity, in those moments when we're tempted to compromise, to blend in, to take the easy way out, that our faith is truly tested and refined. So I challenge you, my brothers and sisters, to be like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Don't bow to the pressures of this world. Don't compromise your convictions for the sake of fitting in. Stand tall, even when you're standing alone. Be a light in the darkness. Remember, you are not alone. The God who shut the mouths of lions, the God who parted the Red Sea, the God who walked through fire with 3 courageous young men, He's walking with you too. Trust Him, lean on Him, and never, ever underestimate His power to deliver you. And that's a wrap on Daniel chapter 3. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more inspiring stories from the good book. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and keep the fire of your faith burning bright. Peace out.